Hey guys, it's Jen again. We've been addressing a lot of the muscles that surround the hips, which are super good. Today we're going to get a little deeper though. So something that's really important is thinking about even deeper into the hip, not just the outer muscles that surround it, but deep into the capsule. Your capsule is surrounded by really strong ligaments, and surprisingly enough, if you hang out in those ligaments enough, they can change as well. So you can actually change the way that your hip capsule is formed, because we're all kind of formed with different ones. So if we took x-rays of a bunch of different hip capsules, they'd all have a little bit of different formations. So some people might have more internal range of motion, external range of motion. It's probably going to be different from hip to hip. It's all going to be different. But the more that you start to hang into it, the more that you start to work on it, the more it can actually open up, which is amazing. Less surgeries, less hip impingements. Wouldn't that be awesome? I think it would. So one of my favorite ones is coming into what's called, some people call it the chin box. I just call it hip 90-90 because I'm using my hips to stretch out. I'm looking for 90 degrees in my front leg, 90 degrees between my legs, and 90 degrees into my back leg, okay? So what this is doing by opening up into this 90 degrees, instead of having them crunched in, I'm taking pressure off my knees. So what I'm doing is I'm only focusing in on my hips. So the first one, we're gonna take the chest, turn toward this leg, take my belly and just kind of lean over, okay? I don't need to go very far because my external rotation kind of sucks, but you might be laying down over your leg, totally fine. The goal is to at least feel the stretch deep into your rotators and your glute. So deep into the bottom is where you want to kind of feel the stretch. But you're taking your body, you're rotating it toward this leg, thinking of the knee and this leg just pushing down. So again, this is a passive stretch. I'm only going to hold it with you guys for about a minute. But normally you'd want to hold it here for about 2 minutes, okay? 2 minutes seems to be the golden rule that's come up in research, just due to really getting that body to relax, elongate, and some cell elongation start to happen, okay? So really, if we kind of think about everyone holding hands in a big circle, you have something called tensegrity within the cells and within the body. And if someone pulls on that circle, so if you have your friend's hand and you pull on them, it's eventually going to go around the whole circle, and the whole circle is going to get pulled. So that's why when we stretch one area of the body, it's going to affect how we move on another part, or if one part's tighter, it's going to affect how you move on another. And that goes all the way down to the individual cell, which is why when we're sitting in a position, we want 2 minutes. 2 minutes at least to affect that individual cell all the way deep inside that hip. Okay, so after about a minute, I'm going to start to press my leg into the ground. So I'm not literally doing anything. It looks like I'm doing nothing, but I'm pressing my leg actively into the ground. So now I'm activating, not moving my chest, not doing anything, about 5 to 10 seconds, and then I'm going to pull that leg up toward me. So I'm thinking of this ankle and this knee pulling up toward me. I have friends that can lift that leg all the way off. I cannot. Okay, so mine doesn't come off the ground, but I'm actively pulling, and then I relax and I see if I stretch a little deeper. Okay, then we're going to come toward the back leg. So now I'm focusing on hip internal rotation, and I'm just going to try, the goal is to see if my bottom can kind of sit on the ground. Don't force it. Use your hands, use your body to help support you, okay? So you don't have to be like jamming into the ground or anything, just chill, relax. Use your hands and just breathe, okay? The goal is to kind of get this bottom to start to sit down, and you're gonna start to stretch along that whole hip capsule, okay? So it's a little deeper, it's a little different of a stretch than just those hamstring stretches or psoas stretch or anything else that we were doing earlier, okay? So we're just holding here. Again, you'd wanna do about 2 minutes. So all in all, hip mobility takes quite a while. Okay, it's not just like a easy little thing and hopefully it'll increase. And the reason why you want to not forget about hip internal rotation, it's because the same motion that you need in the hip for it to, the bones to move and glide in internal rotation is the same that you need for hip flexion. So if you want to squat lower, you got to get some internal rotation. Okay, we often forget about this, and everyone is doing pigeon stretch, and we're doing a lot of external rotation, but we kind of forget about internal rotation. So make sure we're not forgetting about this one as well. After about 2 minutes, you're gonna start to drive this foot into the ground. So I'm gonna press my foot and my knee, pressing it into the ground, holding it, holding it, holding it, building as much strength and as much power as I can down. Then I'm gonna lean away. My knee's gonna stay on the ground, and I'm gonna lift. You can lean forward as much as you need to in order to get that lift, but your goal is to sit up as much as you can, get that lift, relax, and then sit back into that internal rotation. Then we're gonna switch to the other side, okay? I'm not gonna do it as long on this side, but you get the idea. So here I'm gonna come forward. Again, my chest is rotated toward my leg. I'm moving and going onto this leg, and I'm breathing and holding. So there's a lot of other internal and external rotation stretches that I can show later. I'm not gonna show today, so you'll have to keep posted for those ones. They might show up in later videos or somewhere else. But really important is really truly getting deep into that hip capsule. We can't forget about it. Surrounding the muscles, great. Foam rolling, great. Nothing's gonna hit that deep capsule unless you're sitting like this, okay? So again, after about 2 minutes, we would dive that leg into the ground for about 5 seconds and then lift it. Ooh, still can't lift it off the ground. And then relax. Should get a little bit more range of motion after that. And then here, again, I'm gonna sit. So try to sit on my bottom, using my hands, just chilling. So remember, anytime we're trying to relax into muscles, trying to relax into a capsule, trying to relax into anything, you're breathing. Breathing is the most important thing in life, and keeps you alive, but really in just getting your muscles to open up, things to lengthen, things to work well, okay? So after you do this for about 2 minutes, you're gonna start to press that back foot down into the ground. So I'm gonna push that back foot down, pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down, and then I'm gonna lift and pull it off the ground. Keep that knee on the ground, okay? So the whole leg doesn't have to lift, it's just that back foot so that you're really getting that internal rotation there. And then I sit back into it and feel that stretch, okay? And this time, as we think about what we just did into your hips, I'm just gonna come back here so you can support yourself against the wall. And we should be able to sit crisscross applesauce. Not just when you're young, not just when you're a kid, okay? So as we're sitting here, go ahead and close your eyes. Just feel your back against the wall. Maybe your bottom's touching the wall all the way, maybe it's not. Maybe you need a pillow because it's uncomfortable for your ankle, totally fine. Maybe you are already super used to this and you do yoga all the time and you're bringing your foot up onto your legs. Maybe you're doing lotus pose. Totally whatever works for you. Go within what your body can do and just breathe. So again, we come back to deep belly breathing. What I want you to feel is not only the pressure into your hands from the belly, but as you fill up the belly, I want you to feel that the pressure can go into the back of the wall too. That the pressure is into the low rib cage, okay? So you want to expand through the entire midsection as you go into those deep breathing, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Really slowing down your nervous system, getting everything to relax, getting everything to open. Again, you want to feel relaxed, so if you need to put pillows underneath your feet, if you want to put your foot up onto your other leg, totally fine. Go with what feels right to you. But remember what we just did. So your legs should be able to move in 6 different directions. Flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, and external rotation, internal rotation. There's so many ways that the legs, the hips, and the shoulders, because of the way that they're formed, can move. And when you start to lose that, we start to lose movement. And if you're born with this ability to move in all these different directions, why lose it? That's where pain starts to come from, injury starts to come from. Your hips are your focal point. They're literally the axis of your body. And if you're not bending and moving from your hips, guess where you're probably going to be bending and moving from? Either your knees or your low back. Makes sense? A lot of us get low back pain, knee pain. Those are 2 super common injuries. And it's typically, not always, I won't say always, but a lot of times it's due to the hips. So we really got to work on opening those hips, taking care of those hips so that you can take care of your body, okay? So go ahead and just relax here. Think about that for a little bit. Appreciate those hips that just got opened a little bit more. And think about when you can add that into your day, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow.